जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। गौरानिता, 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 जय गौरानिताय, 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 जय गौरानिताय। जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र, राधा वृंदावन चंद्र, राधा वृंदावन चंद्र श्री राधे। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा सुभद्रमय जय सुदर्शना। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी भाव। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी भाव। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य दया करो। तुम बिना जगत Krishna Prabhu Hare Jai, Hare Jai. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Vidyate Toriya Aikya. Arana Kori Arana Kori Jai Guru Hare Jai Sevotama Gate Jai Prasad Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasad Pure Sarva Asha Chakudan Tilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Jai Divya Gyan Nite Prakashito Divya Gyan Nite Prakashito Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Vede Gai Jahara Charita Vede Gai Jahara Charita Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Lokera Divana Aha Prabhu Guru Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Aha Prabhu Guru Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Aha Prabhu Guru Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Tribhuvana Deve Jai Guj Tribhuvana Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Krishna Krishna Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshan Punyavade Paschatya Vishakarine Jaya Sri Krishna Jaya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
start with the Mangalacharya.
Deepa Mataji, I made you host, Mataji.
Okay, should I start?
Yeah, we will wait for 2 minutes.
Yeah. అంటే 2 minutes తర్వాత మంగళాచరణ చేయమంటారా?
మీ ఇష్టం మొత్తం పర్లేదు, స్టార్ట్ చేయండి మొత్తం.
ఓకే. ఓం నమో భగవతే వాసుదేవాయ. ఓం నమో భగవతే వాసుదేవాయ. ఓం నమో భగవతే వాసుదేవాయ. ఓం అజ్ఞానతిమిరంధస్య జ్ఞానాంజనశలాకయా చక్షురున్మిలితం యేన తస్మై శ్రీ గురవే నమః. శ్రీ చైతన్యమనోభీష్టం స్థాపితం యేన భూతలే స్వయం రూపా కదా మహ్యం దదాతి స్వపదాంతికం. నమో విష్ణుపాదాయ కృష్ణపృష్ఠాయ భూతలే శ్రీమతే భక్తివేదాంత स्वामी नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. We'll start from here to point 7.20. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the incarnation of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of the Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon. Undeterred in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the 3 lokas and above them to the planetary system of Satyaloka, the topmost in the universe. Purport. We have already discussed the incarnations of Manu in the first canto. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, changing one after another. In that way, there are 420 Manus in a month of Brahma and 5040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years according to this calculation, his calculation, and as such, there are 504,000 Manus in the jurisdiction of one Brahma. There are innumerable Brahmas and all of them live only during one breathing period of Mahavishnu. So we can just imagine how the incarnations of the Supreme Lord work all over the material worlds, which comprehend only 1/4 of the total energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Manvantara incarnation chastises all the miscreant rulers of different planets with as much power as that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who punishes miscreants with his wheel weapon. The Manvantara incarnations disseminate the transcendental glories of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Samyukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavatana.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavatana.
Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The Lord in his incarnation of Dhanvantari very quickly cures the diseases of the ever-deceased living entities simply by his fame personified, and only because of him do the demigods achieve long lives. Thus the personality of Godhead becomes ever glorified. He also exacted a share from the sacrifices, and it is he only who inaugurated the medical science or the knowledge of medicine in the universe. Purport. As stated in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, everything emanates from the ultimate source of the personality of Godhead. It is therefore understood in these words that medical science or knowledge in medicine was also inaugurated by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation Dhanvantari, and thus the knowledge is recorded in the Vedas. The Vedas are the source of all knowledge, and thus knowledge in medical science is also there for the perfect cure of the diseases of the living entity. The embodied living entity is diseased by the very construction of his body. The body is the symbol of diseases. The diseases may differ from one variety to another, but disease must be there just as there is birth and death for everyone. So by the grace of the personality of Godhead, not only are diseases of the body and mind are cured, but also the soul is relieved of the constant repetition of birth and death. The name of the Lord is also called Bhavausadi. or the source of curing the disease of material existence. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya Mataji, చదవగలరా?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Next one.
Text 22. Right, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 22. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. When the ruling administrators, who are known as the Kshatriyas, turn astray from the path of absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in hell, the Lord in his incarnation.
Mataji, your voice is low, Mataji.
Yeah, translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Is it okay, Prabhuji, now?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Okay. When the ruling administrators, who are known as the Kshatriyas, turn astray from the path of absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in hell, the Lord in his incarnation as the sage Parshurama uprooted those unwanted kings who appeared as the thorns of the earth. Thus he thrice 7 times. Thus he thrice 7 times uprooted the Kshatriyas with his keenly sharpened chopper. Purport. The Kshatriyas or the ruling administrator of any part of the universe, either on this planet or any other planets, are factually the representatives of the Almighty God, personality of Godhead. And they are meant to lead the subjects toward the path of God realization. Every state and its administrators, regardless of the nature of the administration, monarchy or democracy, oligarchy or dictatorship or autocracy, have the prime responsibility to lead the citizens toward God realization. This is essential for all human beings, and it is the duty of the father, spiritual master, and ultimately the state to take up the responsibility of leading the citizens toward this end. The whole creation of material existence is made for this purpose, just to give a chance to the fallen souls who rebelled against the will of the Supreme Father and thus became conditioned by material nature. The force of material nature gradually leads one to hellish condition of perpetual pains and miseries. Those going against the prescribed rules and regulations of conditioned life are called Brahmojita Patas, or persons going against the path of absolute truth, and they are liable to the punished. Lord Parshurama, the incarnation of personality of Godhead, appeared in such a state of worldly affairs and killed all the miscreant kings 21 times. Many Kshatriya kings fled from India to other parts of the world at that time, and according to the authority of the Mahabharata, the kings of Egypt originally migrated from India because of Parshurama's program of chastisement. The kings or administrators are similarly chastised in all circumstances whenever they become godless and plan a godless civilization. That is the order of the Almighty. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Vani Mataji, చదవగలరా?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Madam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, చదవగలరా?
Yes, Mataji. Okay. Translation. Translation. Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his plenary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaja Ishwaku as the lord of his internal potency, Sita, under the order of his father Maharaja Dashratha. He entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother Ravana, who was very materially powerful with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished. Purport. Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his brothers, namely Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna, are his plenary expansions. All 4 brothers are Vishnu Tattva and were never ordinary human beings. There are many unscrupulous and ignorant commenters on Ramayana who present the younger brothers of Lord Ramchandra as ordinary living entities. But here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the most authentic scripture on the science of Godhead, it is clearly stated that his brothers were his plenary expansions. Originally, Lord Ramachandra is the incarnation of Vasudeva. Lakshmana is the incarnation of Shankarshana. Bharata is the incarnation of Pradyumna. And Shatrughna is the incarnation of Aniruddha, expansions of personality of Godhead. Lakshmi ji Sita is the internal potency of the Lord and is neither an ordinary woman nor the external potency creation of Durga. Durga is the external potency of the Lord and she is associated with Lord Shiva. Lord Ramchandra, అయిపోయిందా మాతాజీ?
లేదు ఇక్కడ as stated in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, the Lord appears when there are discrepancies in the discharge of factual religion. Lord Ramchandra also appeared under the same circumstances, accompanied by his brothers, who are the expansions of the Lord's internal potency, and by Lakshmi ji's Sita Devi. Lord Ramchandra was ordered by his father Maharaja Dashratha to leave home for the forest under awkward circumstances. And the Lord, as an ideal son of his father, carried out the order, even on the occasion of his being declared the king of Ayodhya. One of his younger brother, Lakshmanji, desired to go with him, and so also his eternal wife, Sitaji, desired to go with him. The Lord agreed to both of them, and all together they entered the Dandakaranya forest to live there for 14 years. During their stay in the forest, there was some quarrel between Ramchandra and Ravana, and they later kidnapped the Lord's wife Sita. The quarrel ended in the vanquishing of the greatly powerful Ravana, along with his kingdom and family. Continue, Mataji. Sita is Lakshmi ji, or the goddess of fortune, but she is never to be enjoyed by any living being. She is meant for being worshipped by the living being along with her husband Sri Ramchandra. A materialistic man like Ravana does not understand this great truth, but on the contrary, he wants to snatch Sita Devi from the custody of Rama and thus incurs great miseries. The materialists who are after opulence and material prosperity may take lessons from the Ramayana that the policy of exploiting the nature of the Lord without acknowledging the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is the policy of Ravana. Ravana was very advanced material, so much so that he turned his kingdom, Lanka, into pure gold or full material wealth. But because he did not recognize the supremacy of Lord Ramchandra and defied him by stealing his wife Sita, Ravana was killed and all his opulence and power was destroyed. Lord Ramchandra is a full incarnation with 6 opulences in full, and he is therefore mentioned in the verse as Klesha, or the master of all opulence. Kalesha, I think it's Kalesha. Yeah. Kalesha, or master of opulence. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Translation. The personality of Godhead Ramachandra, being aggrieved for his distant intimate friend Sita, glanced over the city of enemy Ravana with red-hot eyes, like those of Hara, who wanted to burn the kingdom of heaven. The great ocean, trembling in fear, gave him his way because its family members, the aquatics, the sharks, snakes, and crocodiles, were being burned by the heat of angry red-hot eyes of the Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Godhead has every sentiment of a sentient being, like all other living beings, because he is the chief and original living entity, the supreme source of all other living beings. He is the Nitya, or chief eternal amongst all other eternals. He is the chief one, and all others are dependent many. The many eternals are supported by the one eternal, and thus both the eternals are qualitatively one. Due to such oneness, both the eternals constitutionally have a complete range of sentiments, but the difference is that sentiments of the chief eternal are different in quantity from the sentiments of a dependent eternals. When Ramachandra was angry and showed his red-hot eyes, the whole ocean became heated with that energy, so much so that the aquatics within the great ocean felt the heat, and the personified Ocean trembled in fear and offered Lord an easy path for reaching the enemy's city. The impersonalists will see havoc in this red hot sentiment of Lord because they want to see negation in perfection. Because the Lord is absolute, the impersonalists imagine that in the absolute, the sentiment of anger, which resembles the mundane sentiments, must be conspicuous by absence. Due to a poor fund of knowledge, they do not realize that the sentiment of the absolute person is transcendental to all mundane concepts of quality and quantity. Had Lord Ramachandra's sentiment been of mundane origin, how could it disturb the whole ocean and its inhabitants? Can any mundane red hot ice generate heat in the great ocean? These are the factors to be distinguished in terms of personal and impersonal conceptions of the absolute truth. And it is said in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam that the absolute truth is the source of everything. So the absolute person cannot be devoid of the sentiments that are reflected in the temporary mundane world. Rather, the different sentiments found in the absolute, either in anger or in the mercy, have the same qualitative influence. Or in other words, there is no mundane difference of value because these sentiments are all on the absolute plane. Such sentiments are definitely not absent in the absolute, as impersonalists think, making their mundane estimation of the transcendental world. Jai. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Raj Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Are you in a position to read?
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Translation. When Ravana was engaged in the battle, the trunk of the elephant which carried the king of heaven, Indra, broke in pieces, having collided with the chest of Ravana, and the scattered broken parts illuminated all directions. Ravana therefore felt proud of his prowess and began to lighter in the midst of fighting soldiers, thinking himself the conqueror of all the directions. But his laughter overtaken by joy, along with this very hair of life, suddenly ceased with the tingling sound of the bow of Ramachandra, the personality of God. Purport. However powerful a living being may be, when he condemned by God, no one can save him. And similarly, however weak one may be, if he is protected by the Lord, no one can annihilate him. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sunita Mataji, ఒకసారి చదవగలరా? నేను నెక్స్ట్ చదువుతాను.
Okay, Mataji. Translation. When the world is overburdened by the fighting strength of kings who have no faith in God, the Lord, just to diminish the distress of the world, descends with his plenary portion. The Lord comes in his original form with beautiful black hair, and just to expand his transcendental glories, he acts extraordinarily. No one can properly estimate how great he is. Purport. This verse is especially describing the appearance of Lord Krishna and his immediate expansion, Lord Baladeva. Both Lord Krishna and Lord Baladeva are one supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord is omnipotent and he expands himself in innumerable forms and energies, and the whole unit is known as one supreme Brahman. Such extensions of the Lord are divided into two divisions, namely personal and differential. The personal expansions are called Vishnu Tattvas and the differential expansions are called Jiva Tattvas. And in such expansional activity, Lord Baladeva is the first expansion of Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. Continue, Chena Mataji.
మాతాజీ చేయండి, ఎక్కువ మంది లేరు.
Okay, Mataji. In the Vishnu Purana, as well as in the Mahabharata, both Krishna and Baladeva are mentioned as having beautiful black hair, even in their advanced age. The Lord is called Anupalakshya Margaha, or in still more technical Vedic terms, Avan Manasa Gocharaha, one who is never to be seen or realized by the limited sense perception of the people in general. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.25, it is said by the Lord, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavritaha. In other words, he reserves the right of not being exposed to anyone and everyone. Only the bona fide devotees can know him by his specific symptoms, And out of many such symptoms, one symptom is mentioned here in this verse, that the Lord is Sita Krishna Keshaha, or one who is observed always with beautiful black hair. Both Lord Krishna and Lord Baladeva have such hair on their heads, and thus even in advanced age, they appear like young boys 16 years old. That is the particular symptom of the personality of Godhead. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that although he is the oldest personality among all living entities, he always looks like a new youthful boy. That is the characteristics of a spiritual body. The material body is sympathized by birth, death, old age, and diseases, but the spiritual body is conspicuous by the absence of those symptoms. Living entities who reside in the Vaikuntha Lokas in eternal life and bliss have the same type of spiritual body without being affected by any signs of old age. It is described in the Bhagavatam, Canto 6, that the party of Vishnudutas who came to deliver Ajamila from the clutches of the party of Yamaraja appeared like youthful boys, corroborating the description in this verse. It is ascertained thus that the spiritual bodies in the Vaikuntha Lokas, either of the Lord or of the other inhabitants, are completely distinct from the material bodies of this world. Therefore, when the Lord descends from that world to this world, he descends his spiritual body of Atma Maya, or internal potency, without any touch of the Bahiranga Maya or external material energy. The allegation that the impersonal Brahman appears in this material world by accepting a material body is quite absurd. Therefore, the Lord, when he comes here, has not a material body but a spiritual body. The impersonal Brahmajyoti is only the glaring effulgence of the body of the Lord, and there is no difference in quality between the body of the Lord and the impersonal ray of the Lord called Brahmajyoti. Now the question is why the Lord, who is omnipotent, comes here to diminish the burden created upon the world by the unscrupulous kingly order. Certainly, the Lord does not need to come here personally for such purposes, but he actually descends to exhibit his transcendental activities in order to encourage his pure devotees who wants to enjoy life by chanting the glories of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.13 to 14, it is stated that the Mahatmas, great devotees of the Lord, take pleasure in chanting of the activities of the Lord. All Vedic literatures are meant for turning one's attention towards the Lord and his transcendental activities. Thus, the activities of the Lord in his dealing with worldly people create a subject matter for discussion by his pure devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There is no doubt about Lord Krishna's being the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, how was it possible for him to kill a giant demon like Putana when he was just on the lap of his mother, to overturn a cart with his leg when he was only 3 months old, or to uproot a pair of Arjuna trees so high that they touched the sky when he was only crawling? All these activities are impossible for anyone other than the Lord himself. Purport. One cannot manufacture a god by one's mental speculation or by numerical votes, as has become a practice for the less intelligent class of men. God is God eternally, and an ordinary living entity is eternally a part and parcel of the God. God is one without a second, and the ordinary living entities are many without number. All such living entities are maintained by God himself, and that is the verdict of the Vedic literatures. When Krishna was on the lap of his mother, the demon Putana appeared before his mother and prayed to nurture the child in her lap. Mother Yashoda agreed, and the child was transferred onto the lap of Putana, who was in the guard of a respectable lady. Putana wanted to kill the child by smearing poison on the nipple of her breast, but when everything was complete, the Lord sucked her breast along with her very air of life, and the demon's gigantic body, said to be as long as 6 miles, fell down. But Lord Krishna did not need to expand himself for the length of the she-demon Putana. Although he was quite competent to extend himself more than 6 miles long. In his Vamana incarnation, he posed himself as a dwarf Brahmana, but when he took possession of his land promised by Bali Maharaj, he expanded his footstep to the top of the universe, extending over thousands and millions of miles. So it was not very difficult for Krishna to perform a miracle by extending his bodily features. But he had no desire to do it because of his deep filial love for his mother Yashoda. If Yashoda had seen Krishna in her lap extending 6 miles to cope with the she-demon Putana, then the natural maternal love of Yashoda would have been hurt, because in that way Yashoda would have come to know that her so-called son Krishna was God himself. And with the knowledge of the Godhead of Krishna, Yashoda Mai would have lost the temper of her love for Krishna as a natural mother. But as far as Lord Krishna is concerned, he is God always, either as a child on the lap of his mother or as the coverer of the universe, Vaman Dev. He does not require to become God by undergoing severe penances, although some men think of becoming God in that way. By undergoing severe austerities and penances, one cannot become one or equal with the God, but one can attain most of the godly qualities. A living being can attain godly qualities to a large extent, but he cannot become God. Whereas Krishna, without undergoing any type of penance, is God always, either in the lap of his mother or growing up or at any stage of growth. So at the age of only 3 months, he killed the Shaktasura who had remained hidden behind a cart in the house of Yashoda Mai. And when he was crawling and was disturbing his mother from doing household affairs, the mother tied him with a grinding pestle. But the naughty child dragged the pestle up to a pair of very high Arjuna trees in the yard of Yashoda Mai, and when the pestle was stuck between the pair of trees, they fell down with a horrible sound. When Yashoda Mai came to see the happenings, she thought that her child had been saved from the falling trees by the mercy of the Lord, without knowing that the Lord himself, crawling in her yard, had wreaked the havoc. So that is the way of reciprocation of love affairs between the Lord and his devotees. Yashoda Mai wanted to have the Lord as her child, and the Lord played exactly like a child in her lap, but at the same time played the part of the Almighty Lord whenever it was so required. The beauty of such pastimes was that the Lord fulfilled everyone's desire. In the case of felling the gigantic Arjuna trees, the Lord's mission was to deliver the two sons of Kubera, who were condemned to become trees by the curse of Narada, as well as to play like a crawling child in the yard of Yashoda, who took transcendental pleasure in seeing such activities of the Lord in the very yard of her home. The Lord, in any condition, is Lord of the universe, and he can act as such in any form, gigantic or small, as he likes. Hare Krishna. Lavanya Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 28. Then text 28, translation, only translation. Okay. Then also when the cowherd boys and their animals drank the poisoned water of the river Yamuna, and after the Lord in his childhood revived them by his merciful glance, just to purify the water of the river Yamuna, he jumped into it as if playing and chastised the venomous snake Kalia, which was lurking there, its tongue emitting waves of poison. Who can perform such Herculean task but the Supreme Lord? Can I continue, Mataji? One more?
Yes, Mataji.
Text 29. Translation and prepared by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Text 29. Translation. On the very night of the day of the chastisement of Kalia snake, when the inhabitants of Rajbhumi were sleeping carefree, there was a forest fire ablaze due to dry leaves, and it appeared that all the inhabitants were sure to meet their death. But the Lord, along with Balrama, saved them simply by closing his eyes. Such are the superhuman activities of the Lord. Purport. Although in this word the Lord's activity has been described as superhuman, it should be noted that the Lord's activities are always superhuman, and that distinguishes him from the ordinary living being. Uprooting a gigantic banyan or Arjuna tree and extinguishing a blazing forest fire simply by closing one's eyes are certainly impossible by any kind of human endeavor. But not only for all these activities, amazing to hear, but in fact, all other activities of the Lord, whatever he may do, are all superhuman, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9, that is Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. Whoever knows the superhuman activities of the Lord, due to their very transcendental nature, becomes eligible to enter into the kingdom of Krishna, and such, after quitting his present material body, the knower of the transcendental activities of the Lord goes back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank
Hare
you,
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji. Can I read Mataji? I'll go to
Yes,
drop my key.
sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll read in translation. When the coward woman, the Krishna's foster mother Yashoda was trying to tie the hands of her son with ropes, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length. And when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna, by and by, opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universe situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of mystic nature of her son, Purport. One day, Lord Krishna, as the naughty child, disturbed his mother Yashoda, and she began to tie up the child with ropes just to punish him. But no matter how much rope she used, she found it always insufficient. Thus, she became fatigued. But in the meantime, the Lord opened his mouth, and the affectionate mother saw within the mouth of her son all the universe situated together. The mother was astonished, but out of her deep affection for Krishna, she thought that the Almighty God in Narayana had kindly looked after her son just to protect him from all the continuous calamities happening to him. Because of her deep affection for Krishna, she would never think that her very son was Narayana, the personality of God himself. That is the action of Yoga Maya, the internal potency of the Supreme Lord, which acts to perfect all the pastimes of the Lord with these different types of devotees who could play such wonders without being God. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Vani Mataji unnara? Vani Mataji?
Mataji. Yeah, Mataji. ఎక్కడ చదవాలి Mataji?
Translation.
Okay. Lord Krishna saved his foster father Nanda Maharaja from the fear of the demigod Varuna and released the cowherd boys from the caves of the mountain, but they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also, to the inhabitants of Vrindavana who were very busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove without any doubt his Godhead. Purport. Nanda Maharaja, the foster father of Lord Krishna, went to take his bath in the river Yamuna in the dead of the night, mistakenly thinking that the night was already over. Thus, the demigod Varuna took him to the Varuna planet just to have a look at the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, who appeared there to release his father. Actually, there was no arrest of Nanda Maharaja by Varuna because the inhabitants of Vrindavana were always engaged in thinking of Krishna. In the constant meditation of the personality of Godhead in a particular form of samadhi or trance of bhakti yoga, they had no fear of the miseries of material existence. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that to be in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead by full surrender of transcendental love frees one from the miseries inflicted by the laws of material nature. Here it is clearly mentioned that the inhabitants of Vrindavana were extensively busy in the hard labor of their day's work, and due to the day's hard labor, they were engaged in spiritual activities. But factually, they were engaged in the highest spiritual activities only. Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was devoted in their relationship with Lord Krishna. The central point of activities was Krishna, and as such, the so-called activities in the material world were saturated with the spiritual potency. That is the advantage of the way of Bhakti Yoga. One should discharge one's duty on Lord Krishna's behalf, and all one's action will be saturated with Krishna thought, the highest pattern of trance in spiritual realization.
Laltman Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. When the cowherd men of Vrindavan, under instruction of Lord Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of the land known as Vraja was threatened with being washed away by the constant heavy rains for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Vraja, held up the hill known as Govardhana with one hand only. Although he was only 7 years old, he did this to protect the animals from the onslaught of water. Purport. Children play with the umbrella, generally known as Frog's umbrella. And Lord Krishna, when he was only 7 years old, could snatch the great hill known as Govardhan Parvat in Vrindavan and hold it for 7 days continuously with one hand, just to protect the animals and the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, the heavenly king, who had been denied sacrificial offerings by the inhabitants of Brajabhumi. Actually, there is no need of offering sacrifices to the demigods for their service, if one is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. Sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature for satisfaction of the demigods are sort of inducement to the sacrificers to realize the existence of higher authorities. The demigods are engaged by the Lord as controlling deities of material affairs. And according to the Bhagavad Gita, when a demigod is worshipped in the process is accepted as the indirect method for worshipping the Supreme Lord. But when the Supreme Lord is worshipped directly, there is no need of worshipping the demigods or offering them sacrifices as recommended in particular circumstances. Lord Krishna therefore advised the inhabitants of Rajabhumi not to offer any sacrifices to the heavenly king Indra. But Indra, not knowing Lord Krishna in Rajabhumi, was angry at the inhabitants of Rajabhumi and tried to avenge the offense. But competent as the Lord was, he saved the inhabitants and animals of Rajabhumi by his personal energy and proved definitely that anyone directly engaged as a devotee of Supreme Lord need not satisfy any other demigods, however great, even to the level of Brahma or Shiva. Thus, this incident definitely proved without a doubt the Lord Krishna is the personality of Godhead and that he was so in all circumstances as a child on the lap of his mother, as a boy 7 years old, and as an old man of 120 years of age. In either case, he was never on the level of ordinary man. And even in his advanced age, he appeared a younger boy 16 years old. These are the particular features of the transcendental body of the Lord. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, for 3 days, we are starting the Shloka recitation at 8:40 itself. So, because I need to wind up by 9 o'clock and Giraj Prabhu is not there. So, how do you want to start, Prabhuji? What do you want to start with?
Your wish, Mataji. I am joining, like in everyone. Whoever wants to lead this, they can do. Whoever want to learn the new one, we can learn the new one, or we can complete with the older anchor slokas, which you already started.
Okay, where were you, Prabhuji? Yesterday, I think I was not there.
Yeah, yesterday no one is there, na? Because it's there was a class, I guess, Mataji.
Oh yeah, day before yesterday, I mean.
Day before yesterday, I was not there, I guess, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
Or am I there? I
You
don't
were
know.
there
I don't remember.
day before yesterday. Samyukta Mataji, మీకు ఏమైనా గుర్తుందా? Day before yesterday ఏం చేశారు? Samyukta Mataji?
Mataji. Next shloka, Mataji. Next, Mataji.
ఇది చేశారా?
ఇది చేసాం Mataji.
Yeah, I was not there on Monday, Mataji.
ఇవి చేయాలి.
Okay.
గిరిరాజ్ ప్రభుజీ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయించారు ప్రభుజీ ఆ శ్లోక.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes, ప్రభుజీ.
అయితే ఇవి చేయించండి ప్రభుజీ ఇవాళ.
ఇవి కూడా సేమ్ అదే ట్యూన్ లో ఉంటాయి Mataji. But why we have kept it here is
శ్యామం చేయాలనుకుంటాను ప్రభుజీ.
శ్యామం హిరణ్యకశిపు.
ఇది కాదు, శ్యామం హిరణ్యకశిపు అది చేయాలి. అంతకంటే చేసాము మండే, నెక్స్ట్ శ్యామం అది చేయాలి.
హిరణ్య పరిధిం, సారీ.
ఇది బ్యాక్వర్డ్, ఇంకోటి వన్ స్టెప్ బ్యాక్, గో వన్ స్టెప్ బ్యాక్, లాస్ట్
1 second, sorry. Yeah, this is no media is 1 step
ఇది చేసాం మాతాజీ మొన్న. ఓకే, మండే రోజు. ఇప్పుడు ఇది చేయాలి.
ఓకే, సరే
ప్రభుజీ. ఇది నేను ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేదు. విల్ డూ దిస్ ప్రభుజీ. ఎనీవే ఎవ్రీవన్ హ్యాస్ టు లివ్ ఎట్ 9.
Yeah, sure.
Raju Prabhuji will come, like if in case somebody wants to extend, and Raju Prabhuji can take it after 9.
I have to also leave at 9 today.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
దాని తర్వాత ఇదే ఉంటుంది కదా మాతాజీ ఆర్డర్ లో, అంతే కదా?
నెక్స్ట్
కాదు కాదు ప్రీవియస్ చేసాం మండే, దాని తర్వాత ఇదే ఉంది కదా, శ్యామమే ఉంది కదా.
ఎందుకంటే మండే ఏం చేశారో నాకు కూడా తెలీదు.
లేదు లేదు, చూపెట్టింది చేసాము, ఇంతకు ముందు చూపెట్టారు కదా మీరు, అది
సరే,
చేసాం.
అయితే ఇదే ఇది మనం నవమీడ్య తేభ్ర వపుసే చేశారా మండే రోజు?
ఇది చేసాం అదే, ఇతనికి ఇదే
అయితే
చేసాం.
ఇదే
Yeah.
ఇది చేద్దాం రోజు, ఇది నేను మిస్ అయ్యాను లాస్ట్ టైం.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. We will do. We will do. We will do Shyamam Hiranyaparidham today. Okay. So the context over here is Shyamam Hiranyaparidham Vanamalya Baraha. Like this is also how one of the gopis has seen Krishna when they are playing in their grooves. Okay, what their activities is and all. That is what this is all about. Okay. So they describe, what this, people, this, what is a Vraja. Vrajavadhu, one of the Vrajavadhu explaining that how this person would play, okay, inside the groves of Vrindavan. So by this time, Shyama means you come to know, Shyamam, very dark blue complexion, nearly blackish complexion. That is what Shyamam means. Hiranyaparidhim. Hiranya means golden. Paridhim means garment. Vanamalya Barha. Okay. With a forest garland, peacock feather. I understood these things, no? All these things. Dhatu and Pravala. Dhatu means minerals. Okay. And Pravala means buds. Natavesham, dancer, like a dancer up on a stage. Anuvratam, say. Anuvrata means resting his hand. Okay. Sorry, Anuvrata means friend. Vinyasta hastam means resting upon his shoulder. Placed hastam, his hand. Itarena, with the other. Dhunanam, twirling. Abjam means flower, lotus flower. Dhunanam means twirling a lotus flower. And Karna means ears. Utpala means lilies. On his ear there is a lily, okay, which is decorated with a lily. Alaka kapola, with hair extending over his cheeks. Okay. Mukha abja, upon his lotus-like face. Hasam, having a smile. Someone can read the translation, please. Huh?
Yes, translation. His complexion dark blue and his garment golden, wearing a peacock feather colored minerals, springs and flower birds, and the garland of the forest flowers and leaves. He was dressed just like a dramatic dancer. He rested one hand upon the shoulder of the friend, and with the other trilled a lotus. Lilies graced his ears. His hair hung down over his cheeks, and his lotus-like face was smiling.
Hari. Okay. Just a meditation upon the Lord. Okay, Lord's face and Lord's body and Lord's attributes. So I'll just recite it once and then we will go line by line 3 times and the whole shloka 3 times. Okay. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalya baraha dhatu pravala nataveshamanu vratam se vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam. Okay, now we will go with the line by line. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalya baraha. Please repeat. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalya baraha. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalya baraha.
Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalya baraha.
Dhatu pravala natave shamana pratamse. Dhatu pravala natave shamana vratamse. Dhatu pravala natave shamana vratamse.
Dhatu
Vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanamabjam. Vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanamabjam. Vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanamabjam. Karnotpalalaka kapola mukabjahasam. Karnotpalalaka kapola mukabjahasam.
ప్రభుజీ లాస్ట్ ఒక్కసారి చెప్పరా ఇది
Okay.
కర్ణోత్పలాలక
Lalaka. Karnot అనేది అర్థమైంది కదా?
చెప్పండి రోజు వాట్స్ అదే పెద్ద పెద్ద కరణం.
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
feebly ప్రభుజీ బట్ కెన్ బి బెటర్ ఐ గెస్.
Feeble. Am I feeble?
నాకు అలా అనిపిస్తుంది కొంచెం.
Audible,
Okay.
low volume, can you audible?
Okay. I'm using some pods today. That was new one, so that's what that's why I'm asking again and again. The mic might be.
It is audible and we can understand everything. It's just that volume is slightly low, but that's fine.
Yes.
Okay. See, Karnot. Please repeat after me. Karnot. Karna means ears. Remember the meanings of the word also, then it will be very easy. Karnot. Okay. And Utpalaloka. Utpalalaka.
Prabhuji, it should be Utpalalaka.
Yeah, actually, let me complete the whole word, join them together, Mataji. Okay, at last. Kapola. Kapola. Now, remove these two words from first word. Alaka kapola.
Alaka kapola.
Means his, what is a Gingaral jut antaru danni emantaru. What is it? What is the term for that? Curly. Yeah. Curly hair that is extending towards his cheeks. It has gone down to his cheeks. Alaka kapola. Karnotpalalaka kapola.
Karnotpalalaka kapola.
On his ears there is a lily, and what else is there? His curly hair is extending towards his cheek, so explaining vividly the beauty of Lord Krishna. Okay, Karnotpalalaka kapola.
Kapola.
Karnotpalalaka Kapola.
Now repeat with me. Karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Karnotpalalaka kapola
Karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Karnotpalalaka
Karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Karnotpalalaka
Karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam. Karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam. Is it sufficient or shall I go still 2 more times?
Fine, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, ఇక్కడ అనువ్రతాంశేనా
Ana.
Yeah, okay.
Actually that na anavratamse atla vastannamata. So akkada uvo a teliyadu kani it is actually okay. Okay. Now 2 lines together. Okay. Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim
vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse.
Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Vinyastahastamitarena
Karnotpalalaka
Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam. Kamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse. Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
Shyamam paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse.
Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam
kapola mukhabjahasam.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalya bharva dhatu pravala nataveshamana vratamse. Vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karnotpalalaka kapola mukhabjahasam.
श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यभरः धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनकांसि विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमोज्झं कर्णोत्पलालकपोलमुखाब्जहासम्
श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यभरः धातु प्रवालनटवेशमनाव्रतांसे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमभ्यं कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्
श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यभरः धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनकांसि विन्यस्य हस्तमितरेण धुनानमोज्झं
Thank you so much. Now we can go for the individual practice. Okay. Deepa Mataji, can you lead them one by
Yeah,
one?
Mataji, if you want to, you can make me host, Mataji. I can share. Deepa Mataji. It's already 8:58.
Okay, Prabhuji. You have the thing open, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Page number 8.
Yeah.
You do and leave, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Which one, Prabhuji? Raju Prabhuji, రెండు logins ఉన్నాయి మీది. ఒకటే ఉంది ఇప్పుడు. Yeah.
రెండు ఉన్నాయి Mataji.
ఇప్పుడు చూడండి.
Yeah. I am the host, Mataji. 1 minute. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, please let me know once it is visible.
Yes, we can see now.
Yeah, please. Do, Prabhuji. Mataji, want to leave? You can do and leave.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I'll do. श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यपरहा धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनव्रतांसे विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जं कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Rajendra, shall I do?
Yeah,
Yes,
then
sir.
I'll tell one to do. Okay. Yes, Mataji is also not there today. She will be leaving now. Yeah. Prabhuji, you can do then.
Okay. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalyabarha dhatu pravalanataveshamanavratamse vinyasta hastamitarena dunanamabjam karnotpalalakakapolamukabjahasam. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now, Samyukta Mataji.
Prabhuji, she is not available at the moment.
Okay. Sirisha Mataji, Lavanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
श्यामं हिरण्यपरिधिं वनमाल्यभरः धातुप्रवालनटवेशमनव्रतांसि विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जं कर्णोत्पलालकपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
Last two lines, Malak Sarjan Mataji.
विन्यस्तहस्तमितरेण धुनानमब्जं कर्णोत्पलालकपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
Lalaka. Okay. Oka ka miss అయిపోతుంది Mataji. कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासं.
कर्णोत्पलालकपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
Lalaka. कर्णोत्पलालककपोल.
Yeah. कर्णोत्पलालकपो
Lalaka. कर्णोत्पलालक.
कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
Perfect. Try చేయండి Mataji.
శ్యామం హిరణ్యపరిధిం వనమాల్యబరః దాతు ప్రవాళనటవేషం అనావ్రతాంసి విన్యస్తహస్తమితరేణ దునానమాబ్జం కర్ణోత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం.
లాస్ట్ లైన్ ఒకసారి చేయండి మాకు, పర్వాలేదు.
కర్ణోత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం.
ఓకే మాతాజీ, పర్ఫెక్ట్. వాణి మాతాజీ
ప్రభుజీ
చేస్తారా మాతాజీ?
చేస్తాను ప్రభుజీ, ట్రై చేస్తాను, రాదు కానీ ట్రై చేస్తాను.
ఏం పర్లేదు మాతాజీ, చేయండి.
శ్యామం హిరణ్య పరిధిం వనమాల్యబరః దాతో ప్రబల నటవేషమనావృతాంసే
విన్యస్తహస్తమితరేణ ధునానమబ్జం.
వినస్త్యహస్తమితరేణ నేను మళ్ళీ చేస్తాను ప్రభుజీ.
చేయండి.
శ్యామం హిరణ్య పరిధిం వనమాల్యబరః ధాతో ప్రవల నటవేషమనావృతాంసే విన్యస్తహస్తమితరేణ ధునానమబ్జం కర్ణాత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహస్తం.
ఒకసారి నాతో చేయండి మాతాజీ, 2 సార్లు. సరేనా? నేను చేసాక చేయండి మాతాజీ. ఓకేనా? లాస్ట్ లైన్ ఒకటే. ఓకే మాతాజీ. కర్ణోత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం.
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 Yeah, perfect Mataji. You can try the whole day, the last line.
Yes,
practice Mataji. Yeah.
Shall I do once more again, Prabhuji, the entire thing?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mataji.
Shyamam hiranya paridhim vanamalyabarha dhato pravalanataveshamanavritaamse vinyastahastamitarena dunanamabjam కర్ణాత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం.
ఒక కామ్ ఇంగేస్తున్నారు మాతాజీ.
అవునా?
ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే
కర్ణోత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం.
యా, ఇప్పుడు పర్ఫెక్ట్ మాతాజీ. సెకండ్ లైన్ ఒకసారి చూసుకోండి. ధాతు ప్రవాల నటవేషమనం. ప్రవాల దగ్గర కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్ అయిపోతున్నారు, స్లోగా చేయాలి.
ధాతు
ప్రవాల. yes, perfect.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you.
And now, welcome Mataji. Lavanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalyabarha dhatu pravalanataveshamanavritaamse vinyastahastamitarena dunanamabjam karnotpalalakakapolamukhabjahasam. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. And Akinchan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalyabarha dhatu pravalanataveshamanavritaamse vinyastahastam itarena dunanamabjam కర్ణోత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం. చేస్తున్న ప్రభు. కర్ణోత్పలాలకపోలముఖాబ్జహాసం.
పర్ఫెక్ట్. ఇంకొకసారి చేస్తారా? లాస్ట్ లైన్ ఒకటే.
yes ప్రభు. कर्णोत्पलालककपोलमुखाब्जहासम्.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Raj Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10.23.22. Shamam hiranya paridim vanamalya barha tatu pravala natave samana vratamse vinyasta hastamitarena drunanmabjam karnutpalalaka kapolamkabjahasam.
Yeah. Third line, Prabhuji, oksari. Vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanamabjam.
Vinyasta hastamitarena dhunanmabjam.
Yes, perfect.
Dhunanmabjam.
Prabhuji, shall I do Prabhuji?
Change.
Yes, Prabhuji. Shyamam hiranyaparidhim vanamalyavarha dhatu pravalanataveshamanavratamse vinyastahastamitarena dhunanamabjam karanotpalalakakapolamukhabjahasam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Now, my sincere and kind request to all of you is to please practice this shloka. It's a very good meditation on Lord Sri Krishna, okay, and his activities in Braj.
Prabhuji, can you
Thank you so much.
Can you send to the voice print, Prabhuji, once?
This one?
This one.
Yeah. I will do it after 9:45, Prabhu, if you can.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
You can wait till then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah,
Hare Krishna. Now we can conclude
I'm ending the
call.
call. Yeah. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah,
anyone has any question? Someone said Hare Krishna. Is there anything, or shall we conclude the call here?
No, I only said.
Thank you to
Okay.
you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Nantapoti Vaishnava Daki Jai. Hare Krishna. I'm concluding the call.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.